Hey, meatbags! It's me, your old pal and overlord, Bill Cipher, with a spot of tea. Today, we're going to be doing another ranking video, and one that I've been super excited to do. It's ranking Broadway musicals! Yes, I'm a fucking theater kid. Let's start with our rankings. The first ranking is me spazzing out. Because it's such a good musical. Next is Watched and Loved, which isn't as high as because it's okay. I listened to the soundtrack, which is just, I listened to the soundtrack. It's good. Never watched, but plan to. Never watch and don't plan to. Or, I hate it! Alright. Bloody Andrew Jackson is first. I've never heard of this musical. So I'm going to put it in never watched and don't plan to. Also, this template was made by At the Roly Coly. So, yeah. Guys and Dolls. I've never watched it and I don't plan to because it sounds like something that Fordsy would show me. Into the Woods. I've never watched it, and I do plan to, because Into the Woods is one of those iconic ones. Sound of Music! It's the best musical ever! I love The Sound of Music. I am a big fan. Okay, next. Cats! You know what? Cats is weird, but you know what? I'm gonna be honest. It bored the shit out of me. I hate it. Curtains. It looks boring. I'm going to put it in never watch and don't plan to. Grease! I love Grease. I watched and loved. It's so good. Too. She likes singing hopelessly devoted to you. Anyway, next. How to succeed in business without really trying. Again, I don't want to listen to that. The Great Comet. I think I want to listen to it, but at the same time I don't. So I'm putting it in don't. Seussical the musical. I do want to watch that one. I was going to watch like a different version of it, but I didn't get to. Plus, I don't have anyone other than Static to go to musicals with now. There was a time where I didn't go to musicals with anyone, and it was when... It's like before the divorce and until like recently because Static has been showing me musicals and stuff. Okay, Shrek the musical. Static has seen it with me. I've seen it twice. I love it. I love The Lion King. I have not watched the Broadway version. I love the original. We're not going to talk about the CGI one. That is the failing moment of the Rat Overlord. Tell the Rat Overlord to stop doing that shit. The Book of Mormon. I've heard it's good, and I've heard a bit of the songs, but I haven't watched it. I'm going to disappoint a lot of people today. Alright, Rent. I also haven't watched it, but I plan to. I wanted to watch Rent with Ford, but Ford was having too much fun at D&D with Fids! And you know what? Fine! You can do whatever the hell you want, Fiddleford. Again! That's the first musical I watched with Static. We watched the movie half, and I listened to the soundtrack for the rest of it, and I love it so much! Annie. Okay, I'm gonna confess something. I don't like Annie, and the funny thing is, Annie was Ford's favorite musical. And I hate it. We played You're Never Fully Dressed Without a Smile during our wedding day because it's the only song I would have let him play. You can probably guess how that went. Hamilton. I loved Hamilton. It's not top tier. It's probably above Shrek the Musical, but below Grease. But I watched and loved. Alright, Beauty and the Beast. I've listened to the soundtrack of the Beauty and the Beast musical, but I have not watched it. Frozen the Musical. Static took me to a junior version. Static loves Frozen the Musical and listened to the soundtrack, and we saw the junior version. So, I guess I will put it in Watched and Loved. Gigi! That looks boring. I never watched it and never will. Emil never watched it and never will. Phantom of the Opera. Kill Yourself. Of course it's on. Of course. Waitress. I listened to some parts of the soundtrack. I want to watch Waitress so badly. Aladdin. I haven't watched it yet, but I plan to. All the Disney ones I plan to. Mean Girls. I love Mean Girls. I love the Mean Girls musical, to be honest with you. Anastasia, I've listened to the soundtrack. I have not watched it. I want to watch it. Please. Assassins, I've never watched, but I plan to just because of the title. Be More Chill. I listened to the soundtrack. Here comes another shocker. I have not listened to Beetlejuice. I have not watched the Beetlejuice musical, and I want to, but I listen to the soundtrack. It's good enough for me. Bye Bye Birdie. I have never watched it, but plan to. I listened to a few songs. Chicago, again, I listened to the soundtrack. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Oh yes, they both reach for the gun, the gun, the gun, the gun. Oh yes, they both reach for the gun, for the gun. Dear Evan Hansen, I also listened to the soundtrack. Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella, of course, I want to watch that. Fiddler on the Roof, I watched it and loved it. It was something Ford wanted me to watch with him. He cried. He cried his eyes out at the end. I was fine. I did not cry. I would never cry at a musical. Footloose. I know all the songs in Footloose, but I have not watched it, and I do plan to. Gentlemen Prefer Blonde. I'm not watching that. Hadestown. I listened to the soundtrack. Hello, Dolly. I want to watch this. I need people to watch musicals with. In the Heights. I want to watch it because Lin-Manuel Miranda. Legally Blonde. I want to watch this. Static Mr. Chance multiple times. Les Miserables. I listened to the soundtrack. But And Static was trying to show me the movie, and then we both got sidetracked. Little Shop of Horrors. I listened to the soundtrack. Mamma Mia! I loved it. I watched it and loved it. Matilda. Static was actually in Matilda. I watched and loved Matilda, but I also liked when Static was in Matilda. Meet Me in St. Louis, that sounds boring. I'm putting it in never watched and don't plan to. Bite Me. Little Mermaid, never watched but plan to. At least that musical version. Oliver, I don't want to watch that. Oklahoma, unpopular opinion. I hate it. They were telling that guy, Judd, the villain, to kill himself. Don't do that. Alright. South Pacific, don't plan to watch it. Monty Python, Spam-A-Lot, I want to watch it so bad. Oh my gosh. The King and I like The King and I. It's a nice love story. That one was introduced to me by Ford. Another unpopular opinion, the SpongeBob musical. Boring! I watched it. You think SpongeBob SquarePants, like one of the most chaotic characters, would actually be entertaining, but I was watching it and I almost fell asleep, and I don't sleep. Again, I have another one. I tried watching Joseph's and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I got bored, and I stopped watching. Okay, Avenue Q. I want to watch Avenue Q. Producers. I don't know. I'm gonna say not for right now. West Side Story I want to watch. I have to watch that one day. Sweeney Todd. I watched that. It's going in. It is so fucking good. I watched that with Ford. That was the first time I picked out the musical, and Ford was like, he was enjoying himself. I was enjoying myself. I love Sweeney Todd. A Harry Potter sequel. I haven't watched it, but I plan to. Twisted. I love Twisted. I love Twisted. Most of the Star Kid musicals I watched alone, because that was when Ford was starting to distance himself for the moment. Same with the guy who didn't like musicals. I watched it alone, and I loved it. And I watched it without Ford, because Ford would keep going to see Fiddleford. I didn't watch any of the Harry Potter musicals. I'll just group them all together. I want to eventually, but not now. I don't want to think about Harry Potter for a long time. Holy Musical Batman, I loved. Yeah. Black Friday, I've only listened to the soundtrack of Black Friday. Tick Tick Boom. I know people have recommended it to me. I have to watch it eventually. Jesus Christ Superstar. I'm going to have to watch eventually, because Static was like, we need to watch this, and I don't think I'm gonna be into Percy Jackson because Static was never into the books, and I'm like, I can't catch up with this. So, never watched and don't plan to. 21 Jump Street, I don't care. Even if it's fucking Lin-Manuel Miranda, I don't fucking care. Six the Musical. I listened to the soundtrack. I have to watch the musical, even though it's kind of a short one. We're getting close to the end. Only 5 more. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I want to watch it super badly. Paradise Square. That sounds boring. Bear. That sounds boring. Heathers. That's actually one of the best ones. That is going in... Because Heathers has the character I also really relate to. JD. I love JD. If you stand JD, you are my friend forever. You're my best friend. And the last one is the Wizard of Oz musical. I don't know why the Wiz isn't on here. But you know what? I have not watched this version of the Wizard of Oz. I like the Judy Garland Wizard of Oz. Okay? Thanks. Alright. So that's it. Here are my choices. Here's my ranking. Thank you for watching. I'm sorry if I got a little bit venty with stuff. I really didn't mean to, and please recommend me musicals to watch with the kids, and share your opinions in the comments below, because this isn't about my opinions. This is about your opinions. I want to hear your opinions. Do you actually like Oklahoma, Annie Cats, and other stuff? You tell me in the comments. And remember, reality's illusion. The universe is hologram. Bye, go. Bye.